Spider-Man Homecoming is directed by Jon Watts and stars Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, Jon Favreau, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Laura Harrier, Marissa Tomei, Bokeem Woodbine, Donald Glover, and Robert Downey Jr. This is the first solo adventure for Spider-Man under the partnership of Columbia Pictures and Sony with Marvel Studios. We got to have our first taste of what this new Spider-Man will be in Captain America Civil War, and that was fantastic to watch. Going into this solo movie was just so exciting, because I wanted to see where they could take this character in a new sort of way. This is the second reboot of this very famous, but also this very well-trodden character. We know his backstory, we know his origin, we know the villains and the other characters that are surrounded with him. And I really do think that director Jon Watts, with Tom Holland as Peter Parker and the rest of the cast and crew, have made a new Spider-Man movie that honestly feels so fresh, so deeply engaging in so many ways. You keep watching every new plot development or every new dialogue scene and just thinking, why didn't they do this before? I do love Sam Raimi's first two Spider-Man movies, but they did go with the route of having Mary Jane being the female interest, having the Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus being the villains. Those are the very famous characters. Those are the things that you expect about Spider-Man. What was so incredible to watch is Tom Holland as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He does close that gap that exists between Peter Parker and Spider-Man. We kind of did feel like that for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where a lot of it was Peter Parker's journey, and then you had some Spider-Man stuff thrown in there, and you didn't feel like the two kind of fit. Tom Holland here in this movie gives this absolutely incredible performance. I was blown away for pretty much this entire movie. Not only is he this incredibly fun, hilarious interpretation of Peter Parker, there's so much of it. I thought, how did he pull that off? How did he think about doing this in that sort of way and make it work? But also he delivers that drama in a way that makes it genuine. Kind of heartbreaking to watch at times, especially with this beautiful callback to the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 33. If you know that issue, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That entire scene, which I won't give away because spoilers, but that scene was just an absolute triumph to watch because of Tom Holland, because of how deeply invested he is in this character. I honestly think, and this is quite easy to say having gone through and rewatched all the other Spider-Man movies, that Tom Holland has given the best portrayal of this character ever. Also supporting Peter Parker is this great bevy of supporting characters. Some of them are fun, some of them are quite challenging, and then we have, on the top of all that, the villain of the piece, which is Michael Keaton's The Vulture. The Vulture was just that kind of villain where you think, I understand exactly where he's coming from. I'm loving the portrayal of the character. I love exactly where he goes, who he interacts with, and how he interacts with the story. The Vulture was used so perfectly in this movie. Michael Keaton can be that kind of charming guy, but he can also do menacing in such brilliant ways. The Vulture to me stands up definitely with the Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus from the first two Raimi Spider-Man movies. Robert Downey Jr. is that familiar face as Iron Man, but I was thankful that he wasn't in this movie too much, because the way that he interacts with Peter Parker is just to challenge him at the right moments, to kind of stop him so that way he can go back and think about who he is and try and figure out a new way to deal with the situation. That was the perfect way to do this. This is not the Iron Man 4 that people suspected. Ignore the fact that he's all over the marketing and in the trailers and posters and all that kind of stuff. Really, he's in this movie for like 5 minutes. This is still Peter Parker's journey, and the person who knows that the most is director Jon Watts. He's taken those indie sensibilities that have made him a director to this day and applied it to this movie. He's pulled in this wonderful John Hughes influence and these other new ideas that I am so thankful they put into this movie. fuse it all together to make a great Spider-Man movie. He knows exactly how to portray these characters at the right times. He knows how to deliver those comedic moments. Though some of the comedy doesn't really land, you could probably chalk it up to multiple writers working on this movie. You are having this wonderful, fun adventure with these characters. Chalk that down to John Watts. I do. I think that he has made a Spider-Man movie that really does hold up to those first two Raimi movies in 2002 and 2004. Spider-Man Homecoming is not the perfect movie, however. I did feel like, as much as I enjoyed Zendaya as her character Michelle, I felt like the characterization and the writing behind her is problematic and divisive. I also feel like the cinematography and the editing in the action sequences was kind of sloppy. I felt like a lot of it was very shaky. You could barely understand what was going on, who was where, particularly with a lot of night scenes with Spider-Man fighting the Vulture. It was kind of difficult to watch. Spider-Man Homecoming is still a really good movie. It was a total blast from start to finish. It is a great addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it proves that with solid direction and excellent lead performance, some really good supporting performances, and a perfect story for this character, you can take Spider-Man, who has seen 5 movies about him before, and you can find a new way to do it. You can find a new way to tell the story of Peter Parker going through his life, leading this double life as Spider-Man, having his powers, having his friends and family. You can see a new way through that. It is incredibly exciting to see where this character can go. I'm so happy to be totally on board with the Spider-Man movie once again, just like I was with the first 2 Raimi Spider-Man movies, and I have to say that Spider-Man Homecoming is worth the ticket and the Blu-ray. I'm so happy that I'm also wearing this shirt, which I bought 3 years ago, to finally come to fruition, to see Spider-Man and Iron Man on the same screen. I was like, this shirt's perfect. So Spider-Man Homecoming, have you seen it? Please tell me what you think about it in the comments below. There are going to be videos linked down here or one over there. For more Mr. Movies, please press my little face right there. Thanks for watching.